Hi, this is Andy Evans, part 15 of making a guitar in your garage. Okay, so on the last podcast I glued the fingerboard on. The fretboard was, the fret slots were cut and I glued it on. What I've done recently, I've radiused the fingerboard. There's lots of different ways to radius a fingerboard. I did it by hand because at the moment I don't have any jigs or templates set up. Eventually I'll have some type of jig set up to do this quicker, you know. This is something that I'm working on at the moment. The idea is that you put your fingerboard here, screw it, or use double-sided tape. This has got a part of a 12-inch radius here and a 10-inch at the other end. And the plan is your fingerboard gets fastened onto this. You use a routing table, nice straight. It has to be perfectly straight with a router sticking up like this. And basically, if you do this, it should follow these curves, and they end up with a nice radius fingerboard. Some fingerboards, they have all different radiuses. A long time ago, the Fender guitars used to have I think it was a 7-inch radius here and part of a 9-inch radius here, and that's a very nice feel for rhythm guitars, you know. The problem with this is when you bend strings, they choke out on the radius, you know. As you bend it upwards, it hits the fret and it chokes out. So some lead guitarists prefer a flatter fingerboard. You know, the Gibsons are normally a 12, I think they're 12 here and a 12 there, which is quite nice. I've gone for 12 here and 10 here. So I'll show you how I did it. What I've made a couple of radiusing blocks with sandpaper stuck to them. I just cut it out on the bandsaw. This is, I made a 12-inch circle, drew around something that was 12 inches. And then I just cut this out, and it's these little pieces. If you look closely, it's pieces glued together. So I cut it out like this on the bandsaw and glued the pieces together. So that's a 12-inch radius here with some sticky back sandpaper, 40 grit, just to get it down, you know, quickly. And then I've got the same here, a 10-inch one, and I use that. I stick sandpaper on here. So I do 10 inches here at this end, sand here like this, and then I sand at the body end 12. Afterwards I just use a sanding block with sandpaper glued to it, and I just put the two radiuses together. I check with a straight edge, keep checking with the straight edge, make sure it's keeping the fingerboard even. And I've ended up with that nice radius there. It's I don't know if you can see that, it's 10 inches here, 12 inches there, which is a very nice feeling thing. I've also radiused this, put an angle on here slightly, just a little, so you get that worn in type of feel that you get on old Fender guitars, you know. Just when I sand the fingerboard, I just tilt this at an angle slightly, and just sand slightly, just at a small angle like this. And this sort of replicates the old 50s, 60s guitars, you know, that have been worn in over the years and have been refretted and sanded here. So this is nearly ready to go on the to be glued on now. I shaped the neck again using the rasp and the spoke shave. I put some handles on the planer blades that I told you about. I can't see them at the moment, but next podcast I will show you my scraper, my cabinet scraper that I made. That's a normal cabinet scraper, and I cannot see the one that I made, but I'll show you next time. And basically you bend it, you scrape it like this, you know, and you keep it moving this way, that way, and eventually you have a nice carve. It's worth having some measuring tools. These cost me €1 from the local supermarket. They're plastic, but they work, and you can measure the width here, you know, and the depth here. Actually, the depth here, the depth here. I'm about, at the moment, I'm about 20 mil here, 21, and about 23 here. By the time I've finished sanding the fingerboard, it's the correct width. I did some more sanding on the headstock. I need to re-drill these holes, 9 or 10 mil. I can't find a drill at the moment, so that's the next stage. I've angled the back of this. Really, before you should make a guitar, you should have all your hardware, your bridge, your pickups, everything, and then you work off that. I haven't got a bridge yet, but I've copied an old Epiphone guitar that I've got, and I've got the right angle here, the correct angle. It should be about 20 mil here. By the time the strings are on, so that's ready to be glued on. So the next, I'm going to glue that on today. It's very, very simple, just wood glue in here, clamp here, one clamp, and the next podcast I'll be carving this big lump away here. I cut most of it away in the bandsaw, and then I carve with a rasp and hand sand, and then we're getting close to getting some colour on it, you know. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to glue this in, and the next podcast I'll carve this away and then sand it, and then we'll start spraying it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.